I want to talk to you about Experian IdentityWorks versus myFICO versus IdentityForce. Of course, we're speaking about identity theft protection, and you can actually apply this process to all kinds of situations: your financial life, your credit score, monitoring your credit cards, and so on and so forth. So here's the overview I want you to pay attention to. I first want to review real quick Experian IdentityWorks. Okay, and so when you think about Experian IdentityWorks, I want you to think about three words: comprehensiveness, credit reporting agency, but also efficiency. Comprehensiveness because Experian IdentityWorks provides comprehensive identity theft protection and credit monitoring services. And what we love about Experian IdentityWorks is that they not only give you the usual traditional identity theft protection and credit monitoring services, they also go a little further. They do a dark web surveillance, they do a fraud resolution, and they actually, and they're doing this on a consistent basis. This is kind of cool. Now, in terms of theft insurance, identity theft insurance, they actually provide you with an amount that goes all the way to $1 million, and this is kind of cool. I mean, $1 million could be a little too, could be, you can think it's too much, but if you have a serious data breach, 1 million is not really that much, especially if you are covering your whole family. So this is one thing that where we believe that Experian can do a lot better when it comes to increasing their identity theft insurance. And the cool thing about Experian here is that you can also sign up for the services free plan to monitor your Experian credit file for free. The cool thing is that Experian IdentityWorks gives you a free plan, but you are not able to monitor your TransUnion or monitor your Equifax credit report. You can only monitor your Experian credit file for free. But listen, it's still worth it anyway. I mean, if all you care about is Experian, then go for it, okay? But overall, when you think about comprehensiveness, we love the fact that with Experian IdentityWorks, you have a 3-bureau credit monitoring with near real-time fraud alerts. So they have the Ultra plan and they have the Advanced plan. I'll talk about pricing later on, so you have a clear idea what I'm speaking about. But the cool thing is that when in terms of comprehensiveness, you have a quarterly 3-bureau credit report and FICO scores. You have social security number, trace alerts. You have change of address alerts, lost wallet assistance. This is kind of important, especially if you are like some people, they're not into anything digital. They want to pay everything with cash. That's not a problem. But so if you lost your wallet, then this could be a little problematic, but Experian will actually help you. Not a problem there. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Now, I want to talk to you about the pricing here. I want you to look on the screen here. When we talk about Experian IdentityWorks, we are basically talking about a trifecta when it comes to pricing plans. So you have the free plan. The basic plan is kind of free because, but you only have access to your Experian credit file, okay? And some people only care about Experian. Let's say you want to apply for an Experian credit card, or you want to have an Experian loan, or an Experian, I mean, whatever it is. If you only care about Experian, then go with the free plan, not a problem. But if you want a little more, then you want to go with the premium plan or the family plan. It wasn't the advanced plan. I said a little earlier by mistake, the advanced plan. No, you have the premium plan and you have the family plan. It's just a lot better when you go with Experian or myFICO or IdentityForce to go with the annual plan. You save a lot. You can save up to 33% more if you go with the annual plan versus the monthly plan. Okay, something to keep in mind just in case. If you have the resources for it, though, if you have the resources, then go with the annual plan. One thing I want to say here is that Experian wants you to go with the premium plan, and this is actually the best one. The premium plan actually provides comprehensive identity theft protection. So you have, of course, the usual 3-bureau credit monitoring. You have you have everything in basic. And what we love here is that we love the fact that you have advanced identity theft monitoring also. So this is kind of cool. Now, if you have a household that has 2 adults and up to 10 children, you can actually try the family plan. And the family plan will set you back $34.99 per month. And so you are able to actually cover everybody in the house, not a problem. So, but it has to be up to 10 children. And you can't really, I mean, Now, those 10 children can live in the same household or live elsewhere, geographically speaking. You don't have to be under the same roof to qualify, but you have to be part of the same household, okay? And so this is kind of cool in terms of when you think about Experian IdentityWorks. I want you to think about the fact that you have a service that is affiliated or associated with a legitimate credit reporting agency. So this actually gives an extra layer of credibility to the service, in our view. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Experian IdentityWorks versus myFICO versus IdentityForce. I want to talk to you now about myFICO. So when you think about myFICO, I want you to think about simplicity. So if you think about Experian IdentityWorks, you have comprehensiveness. With myFICO, you have simplicity. So myFICO is basically a subscription credit monitoring service that lets people view their credit reports and track their FICO credit scores, and which is the credit score model that most lenders use. So when you think about myFICO, you're thinking about credit monitoring service. So Experian IdentityWorks actually covers way more than credit monitoring. They do identity theft. Now, myFICO doesn't do identity theft. Okay, so as it has a 3-bureau credit monitoring, myFICO enables users like you to compare their FICO scores and credit reports from all 3 bureaus side by side. This is what we love a lot, because the whole thing makes it a lot easier to understand your credit standing. If you're able to do side by side, this is kind of cool. This is just fantastic. Now, here is what you get with myFICO Ultra plan, because the myFICO, they have the free plan, the advanced plan, and the premier plan. Not the Ultra, but the premier. They constantly change how they label their plans. They used to call it Ultra plan. Now they're calling it premier. Okay, and so but the premier is actually, as the name implies, is the more advanced. And I'll speak about pricing later on. But the thing is, if you go with the premier plan, you have 3 credit bureau monitoring, you have fraud alerts, you have a credit score tracking with the regular FICO score updates, and you have a 24/7 customer support. So this is kind of important. And so I want to quickly talk to you about the pros and cons of myFICO. So let's first start with the pros. So the free plan for FICO score monitoring, so this includes 1 bureau credit monitoring only, but it's still good anyway. You have a service that includes the credit score similar to Tool, and this is kind of cool. And you have a service that tracks and reports your FICO credit score. Those are the pros. What about the cons? No free trial, and you do have expensive paid plans. There is no identity theft monitoring included in the basic plan. Even in the other plans, it's not as robust as what you have with Experian IdentityWorks. And the 3 bureau credit monitoring is only available on the paid plans. And it's one of those things where you have to see what really is important to you. So let's talk about cost here. So when we think about myFICO wants to position itself as an all-in-one solution, okay? But the all-in-one solution is only good for credit, not for identity thefts. And so with no free trials, the only way to use myFICO is to actually sign up for one of its pricing plans that includes a variety of advanced features, okay? And so when we talk about so you have 3 plans. So you have the free plan, you have the advanced plan, and you have the premier plan. Now, one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about the premier plan, we want to talk about something comprehensive, okay? And so the plan is free, although it offers only 1 bureau coverage, Experian credit reports, and no identity monitoring. Now, you can get this also with Experian IdentityWorks. So basically, you have a free credit file. So that's for the free plan. Now, the advanced plan actually starts at $29.95. So $29.95 per month, and offers a 3 bureau coverage with credit reports every 3 months. So every quarter, you have a reports from myFICO, so that really sort of details everything for you. So that's on the advanced plan. If you go with the premier plan, now this top tier plan starts at $39.95 per month, providing 3 bureau coverage with monthly credit reports. The main difference between the advanced and the premier is the comprehensiveness is the granularity of what you get. Okay, of course you have 24/7 identity restoration, 1 million identity theft insurance, score and credit monitoring, credit reports. You have scores for mortgages, auto loans, and more. You have FICO scores, but you get more in terms of complete 3 bureau coverage, and you have a service that gives you updates available every single month. So there are cases where you even have updates every day, depending upon the specific goal that you have in mind. But long story short, when you think about myFICO, I want you to think about simplicity. I want you to think about a service that can really scale, of course, but that can adapt to your situation also in terms of the timing. So this is really fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Experian IdentityWorks versus myFICO versus IdentityForce. I want to talk to you about IdentityForce, okay? And so when you think about IdentityForce, I want you to think about a service that is associated by TransUnion. So Experian IdentityWorks is associated with Experian. IdentityForce is actually owned by TransUnion, okay? And so this service offers a 3 bureau credit monitoring on its Ultra Secure Plus credit plan. I will actually talk about this later on, but when we talk about the Ultra Secure Plus credit plan, this is actually the most expensive one, okay? But the cool thing about IdentityForce is we love granularity. So when you think about Experian IdentityWorks, I want you to think about comprehensiveness. When you think about myFICO, I want you to think about simplicity. When you think about IdentityForce, I want you to think about granularity, detail, okay? With IdentityForce, you will get access to your credit score based on the Vantage Score 3.0 model, as well as the information on your TransUnion credit report. You will also receive notifications when your credit score changes and when there are suspicious changes to your accounts or signs of compromised data. So if you have a data breach, for instance, IdentityForce will kind of alert you, okay? Now, so when you think about IdentityForce Ultra Secure Plus credit plan, you have bank and credit monitoring, that's for sure. You have a credit similar to tools. You have public records monitoring. You have digital security tools for PCs, so this is kind of cool, especially when you have kids in the household. If you have if you want to monitor PCs in the household, this is really cool. Let's talk about the pros and cons of IdentityForce. The pros first. You have a service that directly connects to a major credit reporting agency, TransUnion in this case, and so you have a white glove fraud resolution support for all tier levels. This is kind of cool. You have VPN and credit score simulation tools included, so we love that a lot. So this is just fantastic. So those are the pros. What about the cons here? Well, the higher price points than other services, especially if you want 3 bureau credit monitoring. And basically, the fraud insurance coverage amount varies depending on the membership tier. And there is no money-back guarantee. So it's one of those things where you have to be sure that's what you want before signing up for the service. Now let's talk about pricing here. I want you to look right now on the screen. So when we talk about IdentityForce, you have a pretty straightforward service. You have the Ultra Secure and the Ultra Secure Plus credit, okay? And so what they have here, they have several layers of granularity. Whether you are looking at it as an individual or family, you can see this on the screen. So you can see that overall, when we talk about this amount might sound a little too much for you, but remember that we are speaking about family versus individual, okay? And so let me break it down for you. IdentityForce offers a family and individual plans, as you can see on the screen here. However, the pricing for families is only available by phone, and they want you to have a maximum 10 individuals in your household. Okay, and so when we talk about Ultra Secure versus Ultra Secure Plus credit, it's really important to understand that you only want to go for Ultra Secure Plus credit if your credit really matters to you. In other words, let's say you are planning to apply for a mortgage, you're planning to apply for a car loan, you're planning to apply for something consequential, and you need to really have a clear idea what's really happening with your credit, that's when you want to go with IdentityForce. Otherwise, the service itself is too expensive for, I would say, a regular sort of everyday sort of conversation. Why? Because when we talk about the family pricing plan, for instance, on Ultra Secure Plus credit, you're paying $400 per year. Okay, $400 per year. When you actually divide that by 12, what do you have here? You have about 33 bucks per month, right? Now you might be thinking, well, this is not too much, but if you have to pay this every single month, then it must be really, if you want the ROI to be positive, the return on investment, then it must be really worth it for you. And one thing I also want to say here is that it's one of those things where you have to see what really works for you. If you think that Advantage Score 3.0 is what really matters to you, then go with IdentityForce. If not, then you want to go with another provider, because again, you want to make sure that the service actually matches your needs. Otherwise, you just be throwing money out of the window here. So when we analyze Experian IdentityWorks versus myFICO versus IdentityForce, it's important to really understand it's important to understand what matters to you, right? And so do you want protection against fraudulent accounts, loans, and lines of credit? Or do you want protection against your identity theft? Identity profile. Do you want protection against scammers? Do you want protection against your bank accounts and what have you? So you have to first delineate what's important to you. Then you have to really pay attention to what kind of a credit accounts is important to you. Is it Experian? Is it Equifax? Is it TransUnion? And are you trying to have something in the long run, or you just want something temporary? It's really important because all those providers, they want you to pay on a monthly basis. That's how they actually can stabilize their revenue model. That makes sense. I mean, it's pure business, but you have to make sure that from your point of view, that makes sense as well. So it's one of those things where you have to really understand what's important to you, and most importantly, also think about the long-term nature of the relationship. In other words, of course, they're not really forcing you to have a multi-year agreements with them, but they want you to really be with them for a long time. That's why they're giving you so much discounts if you accept annual billing as opposed to monthly billing. So the question is, does this make sense to you? Okay, so there are pros and cons when it comes to 3 bureau credit monitoring. Everything revolves around what's important to you. Everything revolves around what's the priority for you. Everything revolves around why you're doing it in the first place. Okay, and but just keep in mind that if you monitor all the 3 credit bureaus, this is not going to remove instantly legitimate negative information. No. You just will be alerted of what's really happening with your account, which is really all you need in most cases. And it's one of those things where you have to see whether or not you really need to have something real time or near real time, or something every month or every quarter. Because in some cases you might need to have a real time monitoring, and in some cases you don't really care that much. I mean, if you are working on a mortgage transaction and you are about to sign a deal, you want to have a monitoring all day long, because if you have a little breach, if you have a little problem, this could increase your APR big time. So you want to have some kind of monitoring. But if you are in a situation where you don't need to have near constant monitoring, then don't go for the 3 bureau credit monitoring. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. So if I were to ask you, Experian IdentityWorks versus myFICO versus IdentityForce, which one should you go for? It really depends. Go for Experian IdentityWorks if you have affiliation, if you will, for an Experian credit file. So you want to know what's happening in your Experian credit file. Go with IdentityForce if you want to know what's happening with your TransUnion credit file, and go with myFICO if you're looking for a 3 bureau credit monitoring. Now, the cool thing about Experian IdentityForce and Experian IdentityWorks and the cool thing about Experian IdentityWorks and TransUnion IdentityForce is that you have identity theft prevention also, something you don't have with myFICO. So if you're looking for identity theft protection, go with Experian IdentityWorks or IdentityForce. If not, you can go with myFICO, not a problem. myFICO is more affordable, by the way. So quickly recap here. I talked to you about the overview. I give you the pro tips and now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.